Right.
It was taking them 10 hours.
Good math. That's insane, right?
10 hours just for 5 minutes.
He said he only got 2 minutes. Right? Did he say Zach only got 2 minutes?
Yeah, they asked you.
Yeah, and then I managed to put like 2 minutes of bloopers or something.
Well, that doesn't count. All right.
We still learn.
So
Yeah, they said 5 minutes.
we're going to try to spend only 20 minutes on this, so the rest of the time is yours to work. Whether it be finishing the Chapter 5 Progressing to Mastery, or any of your Chapter 6 homework, or whatever. I know some people are behind. I know Emperor Skits had people stressed out, but now those aren't until Monday. But here's the cool thing. Because I teach how I teach, I don't delay in letting you know information, which I think is kind of a silly thing some teachers do. They'll withhold information because they're like, oh, but that's my lesson for a week from now. That's kind of silly. We've already done this lesson, but I don't skip things because I don't want to overload you. This is solving equations the algebraic way that we've already been doing together, right? Like what we were doing yesterday at the end of that Progressing to Mastery. So Sandeep works at a bowling alley, and they have this pricing model of $3 to rent shoes and $4 per game. Really, that's not bad. If you go to AMF, I think it's a lot more expensive than that. So his boss is thinking about changing it. He's like, you know what? People are coming in, they're renting shoes, and they're only playing one game, and they're leaving, and we're not making very much money off of them. Because under the current pricing model, they make more money off the games, right? $4 per game as opposed to $3 per shoe. This new model that he's thinking about pitching, games are a lot cheaper, right? So they could make advertising, be like, bowling games 50% off now, only $2. But they'd up their price of shoes. So Sandeep starts thinking, because he's a mathematical person, and he's curious. If a person rents shoes and plays 2 games, what would they be charged on both pricing models? So I want you to take a moment and calculate under both pricing models, what would that person have to pay? Which one would be cheaper, the old pricing model or this newly proposed pricing model? So yellow versus green. So if we were to set this up using an expression like we've been doing, is the $3 going to happen once or multiple times? Once, right? Because it's shoes. You only need one pair of shoes. So it's 3 plus, does the 4 happen once or multiple times? Multiple times based off how many games, right? And here it's going to be 2. So this will actually be 3 plus 4 times 2. What's 4 times 2? What's plus 3? 11. Thank you. A lot of people just tried to say 12. Well, okay, we can actually see automatically. Oh, well, of course the old pricing model will be better because it's 11, and the new pricing model immediately. Because how many games, right? Because it's $4 per game. Now the new pricing model, though, it's $2 per game, so it would be $11 flat fee plus 2 times 2, which would end up being $15. So this new pricing model, if you play 2 games, is worse, right? If you play 2 games, it's worse, right? Unless you own the bowling alley and then it's better.
Yeah. If you were going to this bowling alley beforehand, you were already playing their games and all that.
Yeah.
You were the bowling games, and then they automatically changed their prices, and you noticed how it took more.
Yeah. Some
I think $11 is a little ridiculous.
go buy your own shoes.
Charge shoes.
Right? I mean,
You would actually save more money than just buy your own shoes.
yeah, I agree. And those are the decisions you have to make as an adult of do I spend a lot of money on shoes once or do I rent shoes every time I go? Like you bring up, if you were in a bowling league, right, $11 every time I go bowl, that's a lot. $3 every time I go bowl, not as much. So what about if the customer bowls 7 games? Well, we just go back to what we set up. We replace our 2 with a 7, right? So instead of 2 games, it's 7 games. What's 4 times 7? 28 plus 3? 31 versus 2 times 7 plus 11. Ooh. So if we play a lot of games, the new pricing model ends up being better. Sandeep then is scratching his head and he's like, well, wait a minute. Isn't there going to be a point at which they're both equal? So if we set this up on an expression mat, like I have on your paper. And actually, if I was you, I would draw 3 vertical lines splitting the paper in between the expression mats.
Maybe 2 lines.
Okay, 2 lines. You are correct. To make 3 sections. My apologies. You know what my weekend turns into?
What?
Time not being corrected by middle schoolers. That's what it
Hey,
is.
but I've heard.
Well, when you're wrong,
You need to be corrected by middle school because you.
Oh, it is. I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
We teach
Correct me when I mess up. I'm just saying.
Your wife correct you?
You are correct. Yes, my wife does correct me. So, Sandeep starts wondering, at what point would the 2 pricing models be equal? So, although we don't need to use this expression mat anymore, we have it on our paper because I wanted to show it to you and make sure that we're all comfortable. We could, under that expression mat, write what we have, right? So they tell us here 4x plus 3 and 2x plus 11. But let's go ahead and write those down below your mat. So write 4x plus 3, because that's what we have on this side, equal to 2x plus 11. So $4 per game and 3 for shoes. So, solve this. Try it on your own. I'm going to write the work up here while you're working on your own. Because if you forget how to do this, that's fine. That's why we're doing another lesson on it. Yep, we're making the old pricing model equal to the new one. And now we're trying to see what value of X, what amount of games.
So do we have to do the arrows to make this?
What do you mean the arrows?
When we circle.
Ah, you can. Yeah, so if you want to group things, push them off the. You could add things in, yeah. You could bring in stuff on both sides. Make sure everyone's trying this on their own. If you want to use the expression mat, use the expression mat. If you want to do the algebra, do the algebra. Yeah, they're equal. The left side is equal to the right. Yeah. Sandeep said, at what point are they equal? We're making it happen. Because in math, we can do whatever we want. So I went up to the expression mat. What could I do to both sides to start to get rid of some things? I can get rid of 2 x's, right? Because I have an x here, x here, x here, x here. So that mathematically, guys, please on your paper, write minus 2x on both sides. We took away 2x from both sides of the mat. We now have 2x left plus 3 equals no x's left and a positive 11. Ooh, we can take away 3 from each side, right? So if we show it up here, we can grab 3, take them off, grab 3, take them off. Two x equals 8. And then we split it, right? If we have 2x and we only want 1, we divide by 2, and that will give us x is 4. So, Nikki, if you were normally playing 4 games when you went to bowl, you would not notice the price change. If you were playing any other amount of games, you would notice. Now, let's say you normally play 6 games. You are an avid bowler. You bowl very quickly. Would 6 still make the left side equal to the right side? No. Like, that's silly. But the book, what they're going to ask us in practice problems, we solved this and we figured out x is 4. Then the book says, well, is x equals 6 a solution? No! X is 4 is the only solution. So at 4 games, if Nikki normally bowled 4 games, or whoever was bowling, you wouldn't notice the price change. The old pricing is equal to the new pricing. But any other amount, and you would. So try this on your own. The next box you have on your paper, in the middle of your page, is this. I want you to write down what you actually see, like the algebra, some amount of x's, some amount of constants equal to some amount of x's, some amount of constants. Now, you could group zeros first. You don't have to write down everything you see. You could group your zeros first. So if I group my zeros first, what we're then left with, 3x plus 1 equal to 1x plus 5. Try on your own to solve for what value of x would make the left equal the right. You can draw on your mat, on your paper, taking tiles off, but then please write the algebra of what you did. So if you take an x off both sides, write minus x on both sides. If you take 3 off both sides, write minus 3. Or here it's actually going to be -1. What? I said if you take 3 off both sides, but you can't here. We could take 1 off both sides here. Order is negotiable, okay, of what I remove when. I could start, I want everyone to hear this, I could start by removing 1 from both sides. Or, it makes no difference, I could start by removing x from both sides. It does not matter. Here's what matters. I'm waiting for more eyes, that's why the awkward silence. What matters is when we start doing algebra, please do not write -1 on both sides, minus x on both sides. Like, don't do all of that together. It's confusing. That's just asking to make a mistake. Do it one step at a time. So if I'm going to start by removing x from both sides, that's great. But only do that. And then write the next line. And then do the next thing. So we get 2x still over here. And 5. Now I can remove 1 from both sides. And that is what I have left up here, right? 2x is still on my mat and 4 is still on my mat. Split the group. Instead of 2x's, split it to be 1x and split the group over here. So if I divide by 2, what do we get? X is 2. Try the last one on your own. Try the last one on your paper, on your own. That right equation math. If you have a question on what we just did, please stick up a hand. I will come and explain it to you.
No, I guess not. We don't have enough time.
I will gallop over to you.
Wait a second. 1x equals 0.
Wait,
X is 0.
Wait a minute.
Mr.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I thought. How can they be America's Got Talent? That guy who just uses their
Probably.
X equals. Yeah, he did like the horses, and then he got like that one lady who put the plunger on her.
How many pizzas do I have right now?
Which one? Which one?
How many pizzas do I have right now? 0. 0 is a number. Don't get concerned when you get 0 as an answer. Because, guys, if I look up here, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative. I don't know how to loop those together. Positive, negative, positive, negative. X is equal to nothing. So if the value of x is 0, then left side equals right side. And that's okay. That's allowed. X can be 0. What x cannot be is any other number here. Right? Or these won't be equal. So what we're finding is the one value that forces the left side and right side to equal each other. We're making that happen. So sometimes x doesn't have a value. Or more so its value is 0, but that's kind of like the lack of a value. Does that make sense? That x can be 0? Do not freak out if you get x as 0. That's okay. X is a number. Or it's X is number, 0 is a number.
X is not a number, Mr. Hudson.
And that's all I wanted to do with you. That's our problem.
Yeah.
That's why I wasn't in a rush when you guys walked in. So, guys, this isn't your book, but we've been doing this process. Hey, I shouldn't say that's it and then keep talking. My bad. That's on me. We've been doing this process for probably about a week now, where I've been encouraging you to write out the algebra. If you want to see it, check out the math notes box in the book. I did not have space to put it in your notes, but that's why we took notes together on it. I don't like that they go left to right and then down and then right again. All of this kind of bothers me. I wish they had just gone straight down. When you do algebra, you're working vertically. Okay, you're not writing it left to right, left to right, left to right. You work next step down, next step down, next step down. Okay, are there any questions left from the solving equations, anything like that? Work on your homework, or work on your 5P to M, or work on a skit, or work on a Pompeii journal, or work on your life. I guess set some goals. I don't know.
I need